Welcome to Odd Occasions, the channel where we explore the strangest and most mysterious happenings around the world. Today, we're diving into some of the UK's most haunted public houses, where history and the supernatural collide. These ancient pubs have been witness to centuries of life, death, and eerie encounters that refuse to stay in the past. So grab a drink, but don't get too comfortable, because you're about to discover the 10 most disturbingly haunted public houses in the UK. Let's take a spine-chilling tour of these haunted watering holes where the spirits of the past never quite left. Number 10. The Spaniards Inn, the one-time hideout of Dick Turpin. It is possible that the allegation that the well-known highwayman Dick Turpin is one of the spirits that are said to haunt the public house at the Spaniards Inn in Hampstead Heath, which is located in North London, is what enables the establishment to stand out. In the past, Turpin's father was the proprietor of the watering hole, and it is reported that Turpin made use of the establishment as a place to conceal himself. The ghost of Turpin is said to have been seen by a number of individuals moving from one room to another on the top floors of the building. Additionally, some individuals have stated that they have seen his horse walking about the parking lot. However, even before anything has occurred, the Spaniards Inn has a history that is both mysterious and bloody. Francesco and Juan Porrero, two brothers from Spain, were the ones who initially opened the doors in the year 1585. At first, everything was going swimmingly, but then they both found themselves falling in love with the same woman. After everything was said and done, the two brothers would engage in a duel, which would ultimately result in Juan's death. It is said that Francesco would bury his body in the grounds of the tavern, and numerous individuals have asserted that they have witnessed the former proprietor walking the land surrounding the pub ever since. There have also been numerous allegations from staff members that they have been pushed or had their clothing tugged by a pair of hands that appear to be invisible. Number 9. The Grenadier, one of the most haunted pubs in London. Located in Wilton Mews, the Grenadier is not only one of the most haunted public houses in London, but it is also one of the most haunted public houses in the entire United Kingdom. In spite of the fact that weird occurrences are reported throughout the entire year, it is believed that the month of September is when these occurrences of the paranormal begin to reach a point of maturity. According to the local mythology, this is the place where a soldier met his death after cheating at cards. This is the reason why this is the case. Inside the tavern, he was assaulted and then shoved down a flight of stairs, which ultimately led to his death. There have been instances in which both employees and customers have reported hearing footsteps that appear out of nowhere, as well as witnessing tables and chairs move on their own volition. It is possible that the unusual and unsettling sounds that are frequently heard coming from the cellar, despite the fact that there is no one around, are of greater concern. Even more peculiar is the fact that the temperature of the rooms suddenly drops and stays at an extremely low level for several hours at a time. In addition, a great number of individuals have also claimed seeing smoke materialize out of thin air and then vanish once more without any reason. Number 8. The Volunteer, built on the burned remains of the Neville family. Home. In the year 1654, the Neville family was killed when their home was destroyed by fire on Baker Street in London. The foundations of the Volunteer, which is located on Baker Street, were previously the residence of the Neville family. People started noticing a well-dressed man wandering through the basement of the building after the public house was constructed on top of the buildings that had been destroyed. Rupert Neville, the spirit, was a particularly successful businessman during his lifetime, according to some people. This individual is said to have been a member of the Neville family. In addition to the lights flashing on and off, there have been numerous claims of weird activity occurring inside the Volunteer. These stories include sounds that are menacing and unnerving that could be coming from nowhere. In addition, the bar was used as a recruiting post during both of the World Wars that occurred during the first part of the 20th century. This may have contributed to the building having an additional sense of melancholy and dread, regardless of whether or not it was of any relevance. Number 7. The Drovers Inn, a long, morose history that manifests today. The grounds around the Drovers Inn in Loch Lomond, Scotland, have witnessed their fair share of horrifying actions and happenings, which most likely contribute to the ghostly goings-on that have been recorded there for years. These events have been documented for a number of years. According to the tradition, one of these spirits is that of a young girl who is said to have drowned in a river in the vicinity. Until her family arrived to retrieve her, her body was placed in a room at the pub, where it remained hidden until they arrived. Numerous individuals who have stopped in the room over the course of the years have stated that they have witnessed the youngster, while some have asserted that they have observed the temperature drop to an extremely cold level. Another ghost is supposed to be that of Angus, a cattle drover who was executed by competing cattle drovers by hanging him from a huge tree next to the tavern. It has been reported on a regular basis that his soul may be seen wandering around the grounds of the bar, and there have also been sightings of the unhappy cattle drover inside the institution itself. Number 6. The Ostrich Inn, one of the oldest drinking establishments in the UK. It was established in 1106 and is considered to be one of the oldest public houses in the United Kingdom. The Ostrich Inn, which is located in Berkshire, England, is the fourth oldest public house in the country. There have been multiple murders that have taken place there, including several that were committed by Mr. Jarman, who was the landlord of the establishment in the 17th century. Mr. Jarman and his wife were responsible for the killings of several wealthy guests in order to rob them of their fortune. As well as having a history of committing a number of heinous crimes, this establishment is also a public house, similar to the first pub on our list, which is where it is believed that Dick Turpin went during his sprees of criminal activity. As a result of a disagreement, Turpin is claimed to have shot and killed the landlord of the tavern before fleeing from one of the pub's windows, as depicted in the local tales. It has been reported by a number of individuals that they have experienced a peculiar and unsettling presence within the building, as well as being pushed or nudged by hands that are invisible. Number 5. The Golden Fleece, home to over a dozen spirits. According to legend, the Golden Fleece, which goes back to the year 1503, is the public house in York that is considered to be the most haunted in the city. It is claimed to be home to more than a dozen spirits. According to legend, Lady Anne Peckett, who was the wife of John Peckett, who served as mayor of York at one point in time, is one of these spectral manifestations. Some individuals have stated that they have witnessed her strolling around the hallways of the building, while others have stated that they have heard her walking around the building, often throughout the night. In addition, there is a young child who has been spotted in one of the bars with a cruel and grumpy elderly man who is frequently seen in the other pub. One-Eyed Jack is a manifestation that is observed roaming around the public house while carrying an old-fashioned pistol. He is considered to be one of the most intriguing spirits. When it comes down to it, the Golden Fleece is a place where people frequently report seeing odd figures and hearing unsettling noises, and its reputation is something that is well deserved. Number 4. The Snickleway Inn. Many spirits witnessed throughout the building. The Snickleway Inn, which is also located in York, has portions that date back to the 14th century. Since it has been around for such a long time, it is not surprising that at least 5 separate spirits have been believed to have been seen within its walls. One of these is a mystery elderly man who has been seen in the cellar of the tavern on several occasions. This individual is maybe the most sinister of these. In addition to the peculiar and unsettling sensation that this apparition appears to evoke, some individuals have even stated that this scary entity has hurled tools and other items at them. In addition, there have been tales of a little girl being seen inside the building, most frequently on the stairs, who appears to be present 1 minute and then disappear the next. However, a ghost that is believed to have previously been a lady named Mrs. Tulliver is the one that is considered to be among the most well-known. Not only has she been observed on several occasions in this ancient drinking place, but a great number of patrons and employees have reported that they have felt her cat brush against them out of the blue. Number 3. Ye Olde Man and Scythe, a ghostly manifestation captured on video. When it comes to public houses in the United Kingdom, Ye Olde Man and Scythe in Bolton, which is one of the oldest public houses in England and dates back to 1251, is without a doubt home to one of the most terrifying manifestations that can be found there. One particular manifestation is reported to be of a very specific and well-known individual, despite the fact that the building has been visited by a number of spirits, including the ghost of a young girl and the soul of a lady who was hanged outside the place where the pub is located. James Stanley, the 7th Earl of Derby, was a royalist officer during the English Civil War. According to official documents, he was imprisoned in the public house prior to his execution in the year 1651. In addition, Stanley was put to death in 1644 for his participation in a heinous massacre that took place in front of the very same institution. What is even more unsettling is the fact that the chair that Stanley sat on while he was waiting to be executed is still there in the tavern to this day. The public house was featured on mainstream news networks in 2014 because it was suspected that security cameras captured footage of a former royalist officer present at the establishment. Tony Dooley, the proprietor of the pub, saw a number of shattered glasses on the floor of the establishment on the morning of February 14th. He immediately consulted the surveillance tape in an effort to determine what had transpired. It was about 6:18 in the morning that he witnessed a faint, shadowy figure of a man walking close to the bar. This event left him in a state of astonishment and wonder. After a few moments, the video abruptly stopped to a point that could not be explained. The video was quickly disseminated across various social media platforms. Number 2. The Ancient Ram Inn, built on ancient pagan burial ground. It is possible that the fact that the Ancient Ram Inn in Gloucestershire was constructed on an ancient pagan burial place is the reason why it is so haunted. It is said that over 20 different ghosts have been observed inside the building, which dates back to 1145, according to individuals who are familiar with the structure. It is said that one of these is a young girl who goes by the name Rosie. Rosie is claimed to have been murdered at the tavern, and it is said that she is now said to go from room to room, making her presence known in a very noticeable way. On the other side, several individuals have reported feeling a sudden, icy cold hand push against them, while others have recalled seeing her move objects. However, the stories from individuals who claim to have heard the screams of a young girl coming from nowhere are perhaps the most unnerving of all the reports. An additional one of the beings that are claimed to be present at the Ancient Ram Inn is said to be a demonic being rather than the ghost of a person, as if all of that were not scary enough. A great number of individuals have asserted that they experienced an abrupt sensation of being observed when they were in the bar, and several of them have even asserted that they were pushed by this apparent thing. Number 1. The Flask. Refurbishments reveal ghostly goings-on. In London, there is another public house known as the Flask, which is rumored to be the location of a variety of various spirits. Despite the fact that the tavern was established in 1663, it has been subjected to numerous renovations over the course of its history, particularly in more recent times. The previously used cellar was transformed into a seating space as part of one of these renovation projects. Customers began to report seeing a weird woman clothed in outdated clothing walking through the neighborhood before departing almost shortly after the sighting. Some guests, despite the fact that they did not see the apparition, stated that they felt extremely cold breathing on the back of their necks throughout the experience. It is stated that the spirit is that of a young barmaid from Spain who entered into a romantic relationship with the proprietor of the pub. On the other hand, she was in a state of distress after he left the relationship, and she ended her life by hanging herself in the very same cellar. On the other hand, she is not the only spirit that is claimed to appear at the Flask. The main room of the tavern has been the location where numerous customers and employees have claimed seeing a soldier dressed in a cavalier outfit for a considerable amount of time. It is only for a very brief moment that he makes an appearance before he walks past one of the pillars in the building, and then becomes invisible. And there you have it. 10 of the most disturbingly haunted pubs across the UK. Have you ever visited any of these spooky spots, or do you dare? If you enjoyed this eerie tour, don't forget to hit that like button, share your ghostly encounters in the comments below, and subscribe to Odd Occasions for more stories of the unexplained and the paranormal. Thanks for watching, and remember, the next time you visit a pub, you might not be alone. Stay strange, and see you next time.